Hey, this is Pastor Larry here again with another Ask Larry question. This one comes from Kevin in Nashville. And Kevin is asking about how do you deal with a staff member who's made a significant mistake, and how do you balance forgiveness and accountability? So I want to answer this question in light of pretty much all the mistakes that are always made in ministries, and there's going to be a ton of them. We just have the ability to forget the ones we made. But if you're a leader, you always remember the mistakes that other people make. If you were to be in my office, you would find in the corner on the whiteboard 3 little questions. You'd actually find a bunch of little sayings like this that are my reminders. But you would find 3 questions written out that I always turn to when something fairly significant goes wrong. Because the first knee-jerk reaction is to blame or to get a kind of a ounce of flesh out of it. A second one is to create a new policy so that it never happens again. And both are knee-jerk and wrong responses. The first thing you want to do when something goes wrong is to ask question number 1, and that is, what happened? Now, what happened isn't, well, so-and-so did this wrong because, and all of these other reasons. What happened is simply the facts. What happened here? Now, the second question you'd read on my board is this: why did it happen? And then that is the move from the facts to the reasons. But once again, there's no blame yet at this point. And the third question is, how can we keep it from happening again? And I found by asking these 3 questions, whenever anything significant happens, frankly, when we were raising our kids as well, it helped me avoid overreaction and rigidity. Because once you step back and get the facts, things that kind of tick you off very quickly or seem like that zone of, are you kidding me? Suddenly makes sense. Most people who do stupid things are not really stupid. They just had some bad information. So let me walk you through just one from long ago, far away in another galaxy when North Coast was quite small. We had 2 or 3 weeks in a row in which there were typos in the bulletin. Now, that is something that drives me nuts because I think it means that you've been careless. And if I'm a guest or I read that guests would respond like, oh, they don't care very much. Now, that might be accurate or not, but that's how I see it. So like always in every group, we had some proofreading stuff, but now suddenly a 3rd week in a row, we had a problem. And so my natural response would be go after the person who's responsible for that and say, why did this happen? Which is not what happened. Okay, so the first question was, what happened? And then, of course, I got the defensive reaction. I was like, no. I'm not upset. What happened? And the person who was in charge of that told me, well, we had it checked off, not the 2 times like we normally do. We only had it checked off once, and they kind of jumped to the why did it happen, because so-and-so got sick at the last moment. Okay, here's what happened. No one was lazy. No one was inattentive. No one didn't care. Someone got really sick really suddenly at the last second, and this person didn't know what to do to get another person to help out. And if you know anything about proofing, not everybody can proof. You could give it to 20 people sometimes and still get another mistake. So what happened? Somebody got sick at the last moment. Why did it happen? Because people get sick. What can we do to make sure it doesn't happen again? You know what? Someone might get sick or get an emergency call. Maybe we could move from 2 proofers to 3 that sign off. We don't need some new major policy. We don't need to write up the person who created the mistake. It was just a human thing that's not going to happen all that often. And I find from huge mistakes to little tiny stuff like that, these 3 questions are so helpful. What happened? Why did it happen? And what can we do to keep it from happening again? So when you have those one-off situations that probably will never happen again, you shrug your shoulders and you say, that's what Genesis 3 is all about. Let's just move on with life. Try those 3 questions. I think they will help you figure out how to put forgiveness, accountability, grace, mercy, and responsibility all into the same basket. They've worked wonderfully for me over the years, not only at North Coast Church, but in family relationships, business relationships as well.